So all week long, we've been looking at our dream jobs. So it's time for mine. You know, there's a saying, these guys are good. And boy, is that an understatement. Professional golfers, they travel the world. They make millions of dollars on and off the course. And let's face it, even a bad day on the course, not exactly a bad place to be.
Kirk Triplett is your SAS Championship champion. Win number 4 in his Champions Tour career and his second this season.
What a PGA career for Valley resident Kirk Triplett. He's now at 5 wins on the Champions Tour and 14 as a pro. Not bad for somebody who picked up a club at the age of 10, but never thought twice about becoming a pro.
Like that, I mean, people in a little town up in Washington, you're not thinking about being a pro golfer, right? So I just wanted to, keep getting better. I was doing good in local tournaments and started playing the state stuff, made the state junior team, got a college scholarship, and just kept playing.
And his game kept getting better. But at the same time, books were important too. In fact, he studied a lot in college, getting his degree in civil engineering.
So I never put 100% of my effort into my sport, right? So when I finished, I thought, well, maybe I should see how good I am, because I won some tournaments in college. I was an honorable mention All-American. I like doing it, right? That's probably the number one thing, right? It wasn't because I wanted to be a pro golfer. I just liked doing it, and I wanted to see how well I could do at it. And so I talked to a few people and got some help starting out and played some mini tours. Took me a few years to qualify for the tour, but really I'm sort of an accidental pro.
7 under par today, 17 under par for the tournament. Please give it up for Kirk Triplett.
His first PGA win didn't come easy. In fact, it took him 10 years, but he had no intention of giving up. He just had to believe.
But for me, yeah, that was one of the big adjustments for me, convincing myself that, yeah, I belong out there. And, you guys are funny too, because you look at the tour and you think everybody's the same on tour. But there's still all these different levels out there on tour. And the bottom levels, where most of us get to and start at, they churn, man. They really churn. There's high turnover every year. Right? And there's not a lot of interaction between the guy who's 80th on the money list and the guy that's 4th. Right? It just doesn't happen. You got to really get yourself up into that top, 20 or 30 to really interact with those guys all the time. It's different than other sports.
If you've ever shot around a golf, you know how difficult and frustrating it can be. And you also know it takes a ton of time on the range, something Kirk still does today.
Well, if you're going to be a golf pro,
so now's my chance for a few pointers from someone who's won millions of dollars doing something any duffer like myself dreams about.
You just want to get used to swinging at a pace and making that ball land right near 100 yards. Boy, I hope you got a good zoom on that, because that's just about perfect.
I think I almost hit the flag.
That is.
I'm almost a pro. I won't show you all the bad shots, which always seem to outnumber the good ones, and that is the big difference.
I've got to execute this shot. I know I can do it. I know how to do it. But the game of professional golf is doing it when it's time to do it, right? J.B. Holmes can hit all the shots, all those balls that went in the water yesterday. He can hit all those shots. And all those guys that hit the water, they can stand in there and hit that cut 8 or 9 iron, right? 8 out of 10 times, 9 out of 10 times. But can you do it 1 out of 1 time? That's the game, right? So that's the NBA playoffs, right? That's the NFL playoffs. That's the World Series.
Unbelievable.
By the way, that was a hole-in-one at the Masters in 2004. Wow. How fantastic that was that. Kirk's just he's got a great family, just the nicest guy too.
I love that concept that he said, accidental pro. I mean, when you're that good at something and you end up as a professional, you never even envisioned it. That's awesome.
Pretty special.
Would it take the fun out of it with all that pressure, though? This is your recreation. This is something you love.
I told him, I go, when you get up on the tee to drive and there's 4 other guys waiting, you don't know who they are. You're so nervous just in front of 4 people.
Imagine.
Yeah, and he said that the deal with all that, when you're young, you have to learn how to fail in front of everybody and then come back and realize happens to everybody.
Shake it off, right? Well, that was great. Thank you, Scott. Let's check.